Okay, hi guys, it's been a minute. Firstly, I'm pissed at you because no one told me my mic wasn't on for the whole of the last video. And I've got a spot on my chin. I'm 30, Bumperclark, 2 years old. Why is this happening? Okay, listen, today's video, I've got no trousers on, no pants. Oh, well, no, I've got pants on. That wasn't my vagina. Anyway, whatever. Today's video is going to be a big, fat gripe fest, okay? Because I'm pissed. And not really, but actually, yeah. The thing is, I get over things extremely quickly. So over the last, 2 weeks, some fucking mad shit has happened to me. All of which has been my own doing. None of which I'm sorry for. And I'm just like, okay, enough time has passed now that I'm like, whatever, it's fine. In fact, I want to invite more of it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what's been going on. And just my general feelings towards the malarkey that has been placed upon me by my own actions, but also I was right and you were wrong, so suck that. I'm gonna speak in vagarities, not a word. Also, look at this bag. I made that. It's drying. Actually, it's dry. It's been there for 4 days. I have, two things. I have a bit of a complex about being right. That's really unbecoming, isn't it? And I don't mean I'm right and you're wrong. To a degree, I do mean that. I mean morally right. I cannot stop staring at this spot on my chin. What's morally right? Everything I do. That's no. But maybe. The thing is, one thing I struggle with is teetering on the edge of blowing my own trumpet, singing my own praises, and just not feeling like I need to be a humble woman all the time. It's not possible. Women do not need to be humble. In fact, the opposite is true. I did an interview the other day for a tattoo app, which I'll post soon. It should be quite cool, but I'm just talking shit. Funnily enough, at the end, the guy was like, that was incredible. Have you never done this before? That was amazing. And I said, I'm just well-spoken. I'm just a well-spoken woman. Whatever. No, he was a nice guy. I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just talking shit. Can I talk my shit again? Rip Kanye West. I was a huge Kanye head. It's really such a shame. I've never seen someone destroy their own legacy quite like that guy. Anywho, look how long my nails have grown. And peep that fucking French manicure. Anyway, so I have this I have a bit of a hang up on what's right and just. And do you know who I got that from? My dad. And do you know who doesn't have that anymore? My dad. And I don't mean that in a bad way, Dad, if you're watching, which I'm sure you're not. It's just when I was younger, my dad really, really, really instilled in me what's right and what's wrong and what's morally true and blah, blah, blah. And I remember so many times my dad saying to me no, this isn't right. That's not right and we have to do something about it. And now I'm that way. And maybe he's just age. He's just can you fucking chill? And I don't blame him, because the first time I ever called someone out by name, which was my ex-husband, suck on that, you freak. My shop was burgled. If you don't know, you better get to know. I had a tattoo shop for a few years in East London there, and the day I named my ex-husband as the abusive piece of shit, I made a statement about 2 weeks before. I put out, I didn't tell anyone I was doing it. I just got off therapy. I did therapy every Tuesday. I got off therapy, and in this discussion, trigger warning, not really, we were discussing marital rape. And when I came out of it, I'd gone from being scared to being absolutely furious. And I was like, fuck it. I'm making this post. And I made a post, and I was spitting as usual. And I posted it, and immediately I was like, oh my God, this is scary. Because I had this fear, and I need to this is a circle. I'm going to come back to this. I had this massive fear that not only would he deny it, but he'd say, actually, no, it was you that did that to me. And I'd be like, oh my God, what if that's true? Obviously it's not. But I think I just had this huge fear of being misunderstood and lied about, because there's been quite a few times in my life I've felt like people have misrepresented me. And this is before I learned about what projection was. And I was like, why do you act like I'm this big, bad, fucking intimidating bitch, when actually I've always just tried my best to be nice to you, and maybe you're just not the best person in the world? Have you ever thought about that? No. But yeah, so I had this huge fear, and I posted it without naming him, because I naively thought maybe he'd never see it. As soon as I posted it, it did number. It was just ridiculous, and not in a bad way, but it was oh my God, shit, it's already snowballed so much. And my sister was just must be saying, Jesus fucking Christ. I was like, I know. And then 2 weeks later, I shared it, and I was like, by the way, this is about this guy. People had already been like saying who it was, but I was like, just so we're all on the same page. And then that night, my shop was burgled and everything I needed to make a living was stolen from me. So obviously I called my dad, like after I called the police, who did fuck all, by the way. I love them. Yeah, in fact they said to me, this was my fault. Oh, and that I should be careful it doesn't come after me. Oh, okay. So I called my dad, and poor guy, he just sounded like it's the first time my dad's ever said to me, he was like, just tell me what you need me to do and I'll do it. And I was like, oh fuck, I don't know, like. And obviously that was pretty gnarly, like it could have been a lot worse. I was quite scared for my life at the time, but you know, we moved and I was fine, chilling. Since then my dad's always been like, can you please stop, like you need to chill, like you just need he was like, get therapy. I'm like, I had therapy, bro, this isn't therapy for me. This isn't fun for me. Like when I call someone out by name, which I love to do, and I say that slightly sarcastically, it's not fun. Like, and I don't take it lightly. Like I actually take it extremely seriously, because God forbid, you know, someone did that to me or mine and it wasn't true. So whenever I say something publicly, I do my absolute best to make sure it's true. It's been corroborated. I've seen as much proof of it as possible, and then I'm not afraid to be like, fuck yeah, specifically, here's your name. And I will do that, and I'll do it again, and I'll do it again, and I'll do it again, and you can all suck on my big fat swelling nuts because you deserve it. But the only thing is, like, sometimes obviously, like, and speaking about this most recent debacle, when you put like people in a corner, desperate people will do desperate things. So when people threaten me, like physically and, you know, in other ways, it's like sometimes I catch myself speaking to my boyfriend, who's a very like level-headed, calm, cool guy. I don't think he knew what he was getting into when he started dating me. And I caught myself saying to him the other week, on the heels of this fucking malarkey, I don't mind if I get fucked up a little bit, just like not my hands. And I was like, pause, you know what I mean? And I was like, because I just need to be able to work. But look, I bridged the. In this video, I may well sound a little bit self-righteous and a bit full of myself, and maybe those two things are true. And who gives a fuck? I don't care, dude. No, you're good. Really unflattering, innit? I find myself often sort of. I talk about myself very positively, but I'm also down on myself a little bit. Like, I was talking to a tattooer in Dublin recently, and he was exclaiming about how quick I am at tattooing, and I was like, I don't think it's flexibly quick, it's not cool. And he was like, I think it is. And I was like, secretly, so do I. But what I'm trying to say is, I don't think it's important. I think it's cool, you know, and I think it's like impressive, but I don't think it's like something you should aim to be. So I feel the need to like degrade what I do, so people don't think that I think it's the standard, because I think you should be a good tattooer, not a quick tattooer. And if they coincide, great. But if they don't, fucking chill. I'm not fucking Ariel de Jesus, you know. Look at this shite I just put on your arm and it only took me 30 minutes. Yeah, bitch. I can tell. You've been tattooing for 30 minutes. Anyway, can you tell? I'm fucking fuming. I'm PMSing a little bit. That's probably why I've got a spot as well. Anyway, so I had this thing recently with this tattoo shop. And I called them out by name. I thought nothing of it. I made a video. Just like, I literally was sitting there. And I was like, have you seen, look at these dickheads? And then it just did numbers, as it is, you know, as is becoming the norm for me. And then on the heels of that, I got all these DMs from people being like, oh, bro, this and this and this, and you'll never guess this and that. Non-stop. People just wanting to fucking like pile on, telling me all this shit about this shop. And I was like, whoa, you're knocking my socks off. And subsequently I made a follow-up video which fucking went bananas, and then I ended up having to take them down. And I want to make it very clear here and now that it's not because I don't stand by everything I said in the video, and they're only archived, so I'll put them back up anytime I feel the need. It's because they were like, I was getting threats against my life. And it's like, I live with my partner, I have a little dog, I have a family that I love, I have a life I love to live, live, laugh, love. I'm not necessarily looking to like crash and burn. When I first like did that video calling out my ex a little while ago, actually it wasn't in video, it was just a notes app thing. I valued my life very little, so I didn't really care if something happened to me, and I had like no, it's not that I wasn't very well loved, I just didn't feel that I was, and I didn't have like an immediate partner. Romantic love is not, you know, a qualifying factor for how important your life is, but it's just having that love from someone who you see every day can make you feel differently about yourself. But yeah, so I remember I was sitting there and I was talking to him and I was reading him the message and I was laughing and I was like, can you believe this fucking message? Fuck you. And I was like, gonna message them back like, suck my dick. And then I could just see my boyfriend, like, the poor guy, he just seemed like beside himself. And then I was thinking about what my dad would say. And I love my dad, respect him. We view the world very differently, but that doesn't change the fact that he's my dad. And, you know, maybe in 20 years, I'll be just like him. You know, maybe we all just become our parents. And I just kept thinking, like, I was so angry because I was like, I'm not fucking taking these videos down. I'm right. And I had this thing where 99% of the comments were people being like, bro, yeah, this is fucked up. And then the 1%, oh my god, it's that whole like, you can't argue stupid, which is probably what I'll call this video. But like, ow. I fear I'm quite easily rage baited, because when people say stuff that's wrong and act like it's true, oh my god, and I'll think about it for years. Here's a tale that I tell anytime I get the fucking chance. Gross. A couple of years ago, Old Press did a feature on me. Shout out Yaz. I was so stoked on it. It was huge for me in my shop. Like, I was just absolutely elated. And the crux of the story was literally just that. My shop welcomes everyone, every skin tone, every, you know, gender expression, identity, blah, blah, blah. If you're, whatever you are, you're welcome here. Controversial, right? And then this guy commented, this was years ago. You can tell how much it pissed me off. One of the first comments, it was something to this effect, okay? Oh, a bit ironic that they say they welcome everybody. When you look at the page, all they tattoo is skinny white people. Wrong! When you went to my tattoo shop page, in that moment, the day the article was published, the first and most recent tattoo done by me was a colour tattoo on a plus-size black woman. You're lying. Lies! And I was just like, oh, you people will just say anything. That makes me so mad. And yeah, so like, sometimes, obviously, it is not exclusive to me. It's a phenomenon. Most people, and you'll experience this if you work in any kind of like retail setting as well, or like customer service, are fucking idiots. And it's like, how do you navigate through the world? How did you get out of bed this morning? And it's just like, and how dare you act like you're right, and then you'll see, God forbid, that their comment has any likes. Oh my god, bro. No, it makes me so mad. So obviously, like, when I'm talking about people that are like just terrible people, somehow they have like a couple of friends or a couple of fucking brain dead minions that follow them around and want to defend them and talk shit to me. And I'm like, in the past, I was desperate to not be misunderstood, and I would do my absolute best, like, constantly, because I was surrounded by fucking dickheads all the time who were incredibly entitled and just wanted to like beef with me all the time about nothing. And I would just like bend over backwards to try and understand them and explain myself and like do what was right and what was fair. And I used to think, if you just always do what's fair, no one can ever talk shit on you. That's not true, because some people, people just see the world differently to you, and if they see the world differently to me, obviously they're wrong. But it's like, some people are just dead set on misunderstanding you. Some people will project onto you till they're blue in the face, and it does actually not matter what you ever do. You will never see eye to eye. I struggle to understand that. Something seems so obvious to me, and then they'll say something and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's not true! And they just be like, well, I don't agree. And I'm like, it's not actually even up for debate. It's just what's right and what's wrong, and you're wrong. And I have this hang up, like, I do hate still, clearly, after this like last few weeks, I hate being misunderstood, because I try so hard to be eloquent and like well put together and like be clear and concise and like do my research, and I put a lot of work into everything that I do to make it as good as I possibly can. So when people are just like straw manning me and just dead set on misunderstanding me and misconstruing me and twisting my words and arguing with a fucking wall. Like, who are you talking to? Well, I'm getting really angry. I'm actually fine. I just like to, I'm getting into it. So yeah, I don't know, like, it's just, I'm just I'm flabbergasted. Like, this is why I've said, like, when I was younger, I really wanted to be famous. Like, I was obsessed with being, not anymore. It's just because I didn't get any attention at home. And now I'm like, no thanks. When my tattoos or something I post starts doing numbers, I'm like, oh, I get so anxious, because I'm like, it's gone out now from my following, people who like me and know me, to like people who don't. And then I just posted a tattoo the other day that got, who's messaging me? Nobody. When I see someone at TikTok that's saying someone saved my post, I'm like, oh, you're gonna rip my tattoos. By the way, stop stealing my tattoo designs, and if you're gonna do it, stop fucking posting them in my comment replies. People say to me, if you don't want your tattoos stolen, don't post them online. Fuck you. Okay, no, I do have to calm down because I'm screaming. Do not say that to me ever. Because once again, you're wrong and you sound so dumb. But yeah, it's like, don't, fuck off. Like, don't excuse your bad behaviour by making up some bullshit argument that doesn't exist. Or if you don't want this, then don't do this. Fuck you. Like, where does that argument end? If you don't want X, don't do Y. Shut up. So anyway, yeah, a guy commented today, my most ripped tattoo design ever. Which, by the way, is a very simple design. It's inspired by a song. I understand that. I get it. But you don't have to rip it one for one, bro. Like, I'm not even funny. That tattoo design is my handwriting, the vast majority of it as well. So fuck off. Like, just do something else. Like, the amount of times people send me tattoo designs as someone else's work, and I will do my best to, even if it's simple, I'm like, let me change it so it's not a one for one. I'll never do a fucking one for one because I'm not a fucking hack. And it's just like, fuck you. And by the way, they all look shit, and sometimes they actually look good, and that makes me even more angry. But get what you deserve for the ones that got shit ones. Yes, don't steal my shit. I even made tattoo tickets because people were so fucking dead set on just jacking my shit all the time. I know I make cool stuff. I've got 2 eyes in my bloody head. I can see that. I'm a cool girl and I make cool shit. Stop jacking it. It's not yours, it's mine. If anyone's profiting off of it, it's me, bitch. Anyway, I digress. Well, again, no. What's right, what's wrong? You're wrong, I'm right. So yeah, I just have this issue, bro. Like, I've had to, the more success I've had in my career, the more people I've got to know, and, I've had to become comfortable, in heavy quotation marks, with being misunderstood, because people will seek to misunderstand you because, for whatever reason, they want to be right, even if it means lying about you, misconstruing your argument, again, straw manning you. It is maddening, gaslighting you. But the thing with me is, like, when I'm like recanting a story to someone, something's happened to me and something someone's done to me, I will always tell the truth of what's happened, and I will never embellish what they did to me, because I want to be like, if I have to lie for you to see it my way, then I know I'm fucking wrong. And like, when I had this thing with the shop, like, the other week, I made some really gnarly claims which were true, and it was the kind of thing that if you saw a normal person like me, I'd be like, oh my god, like, I gotta get far away from person. And the stuff they were pointing out and picking at, I was like, what about this? What about this? What about this? This is so much worse. Fuck you. And it's like, it's like so aggravating. And like I say, I have a real I'm just like caught up on like what's like morally right and like righteous and stuff, like righteousness, and just being like, no, this isn't right, this isn't right. And then I end up like dying of anxiety and stress because people I've never met are threatening to kill me and break my hands, and it's like, yeah, but you're a dickhead, and like, and it's true, everything I said's true. Who's texting me? Yeah. And yeah, I'm doing this. I've just launched this workshop, which I'm very excited about, because basically, on the heels of this, when I took my videos down, only because I didn't I want to put my family through some fucking bullshit after everything that's happened to me in the last couple of years. I was like, okay, well, I was absolutely furious, and nothing motivates me more than spite, as we've discussed previously. So it's like, right, if you're gonna try and fuck with me, I gotta better my life so much just to fucking shit on you, you fucking loser bitch. Because you will never amount to anything, and I will always amount to so much more. Just go through life telling yourself that, and it'll probably be true. What the fuck am I going on about? Yeah, so I launched this workshop. At this point, I think I had like 600 signups for it. Incredible. I'm having a meeting this week with sponsors. Hopefully I can get sponsored, because I originally was just going to come completely out of pocket, take all my time, all of my resources, and potentially, obviously, lose quite a lot of money because I'd take away time away from tattooing, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, you know what? If I want to make this really impactful and like as good as it possibly can be for the women that are coming and the women that even can't come but can watch it online, blah, blah, blah. I want companies that have historically benefited from the work of tattooers and sadly probably backed, sponsored, gave money and a clout and uplifting to a lot of people in the industry that do not deserve it. Maybe they can come out of pocket and help me spread the good word. Do you know what I mean? So I can do it as good as I possibly can, and I can make it again as useful and as impactful as possible. So I have meetings this week with sponsors for that, and I've posted 2 posts on my Instagram about it, and I'm like, here's exactly what it will be. Here's how to sign up, and in the things I've also said, like, this is how you sign up, and then please don't DM me about this. Like I've got so many DMs, and like I'll only be answering people who are offering like services, because that's what I need. I don't need DMs when there's a fucking sign up sheet here, there's a link here, don't bother me. I also take my bookings through DMs, so just don't blow up my DMs with nonsense, okay? And then and it's few and far between. Firstly, don't message me if you're 16. It says in there 18 plus. I'm not discussing it with you. I'm not chatting to fucking kids in my DMs, you know what I mean? And again, it says that. It's clear as day. If you can't read, you probably can't come to this workshop. Reading is fundamental. So this, do you know what? I'm going to be honest, it was one person, but it made me so mad. This person DM'd me and they were like, I'd love to learn how to tattoo from you. Okay. Well, that's not what the course is. That's not what the workshop is. I'm not teaching you how to tattoo. And nowhere actually does it say that. And then, they DM me again. Probably not. Probably not. What do you mean probably not? Excuse me? Who are you talking to? You're talking to yourself in my DMs. And it's like, you have seen my posts, ignored them all, DM me, for what? You've seen the post, which has thousands of likes, comments, and you DM me, oh, I want to learn how to tattoo from you. Yeah, bitch, get in line. That's not what this is about. And then she deleted that message. Fuck off. Like, don't fucking take an attitude with me when I literally, again, all I'm trying to do is something good for free at great personal cost, and you're gonna have a fucking fuck you, bitch. Like, you are not welcome. You're not invited. You don't get to come. You've ruined it for yourself. And it's just like, it's a perfect example of you can be so obviously right and people will still like seek to misunderstand you and like make a villain out of you. Like, fuck you. Like, this shit would bother me. Well, clearly I'm bothered. It would bother me a lot more when I was younger, and I would be desperate to like explain. And I did think that messaging, like, excuse me? And I thought, oh, fuck that. And I'd try and explain, oh, it's because of this, it's because of that. And it's just, when you talk to someone, you see them kind of like, and you're like, oh, you're not listening? You're not listening to me. It doesn't matter what I say. You've made up your mind. Something trying to talk your friend out of getting back with their terrible ex, and you can just see them like, yeah. And you're like, whatever, bitch. In one ear and out the other. I remember years ago, I made a post on Instagram, and I'm sure I could do it again now and it'd be the same thing. And I was just saying, if you refuse to tattoo someone because they have darker skin, that's racist. I wouldn't think that that's a really like controversial take, but apparently it was. And you know what's funny? Okay, you've said this, I respond to no one, I engage with very little, but I read everything. So if you comment something or DM me something and then unsend it, it's too late, bitch. I've already seen it. So I remember I made this post just being like, in what job, in what world can you say, especially in like, you know, Western world, I know, like, you know, in Japan and countries like that, they're like no foreigners and it's kind of like kosher for whatever reason, but it's like, you do not get to say, I will not work with you because of the colour of your skin. That's not allowed. You can't do that. In fact, tell you what, you can do that, but then people will call you racist, and they would be right to do so. You don't get to have it both ways, bitch, okay? If you're going to do something like that, reap what you sow, which is being called a racist, because that's what you are. If you cannot work with more melanated skin, you are a hacky, dumb bitch, and you shouldn't be tattooing, period. Okay? Because it's just like, what the fuck are you what are you saying? And when I made this post, this was years ago when I was still a newer tattooer. But when I was apprenticing, it wasn't even mentioned to me that like that tattooing darker skin was like a different vibe. But to be honest, like it should have been, because it is different to tattooing like white skin. But you know what's funny, actually? Tattooing more melanated skin, technically it's easier because the skin absorbs the pigment so much quicker and just easier. But because a lot of people, especially white people like myself, so I guess it depends as well where you are geographically, but I tattoo mainly white people, and I had through my apprenticeship, so that's what I was used to tattooing. I was used to tattooing white skin. And I remember when I was early in my career, I was tattooing this black girl, and I said to her, wow, your skin just drinks this ink up, like it's amazing. And then as I started tattooing more black people, I was like, oh, their skin just takes the ink better. So then you adjust your pressure, you adjust the design maybe slightly, you adjust the needles, blah 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 blah, whatever, you adjust and you accommodate. It's that fucking easy, bitch. So I made this post, again, righteous, shouldn't be, it's actually not that fucking like, well, fuck me, you know what I mean? Just being like, hey, if you don't tattoo people with darker skin, you're a racist, so this is yours, you can keep that. And some people messaged me, I remember this one bitch, oh god, I wish I remembered her name, it was so long ago. She commented, oh, my boyfriend keeps texting me, babe, I'm working. This girl comments, you even saying this clearly shows your ignorance on tattooing. And then like 36 later deleted a comment. Sorry, what was that? Screenshot that shit. I got you, bitch. And it's just like, I don't get it, it's like more of the same. Because there was this tattooer, I'm gonna say his name, called Yogi Barrett, and I don't know if he still does this now, I haven't looked him up, but I remember years ago following him, very talented tattooer, but he would not tattoo people with darker skin. And he would like grandstand on that, and he would like post screenshots of people calling him racist because he'd be refusing them, like, it's a waste of your time, it's a waste of my time, my tattoos won't look good on your skin. It's like, right, well then you adjust, like you change the palette, you change blah blah, you know, you set expectations, you say this is what it will look like comparatively. You don't just say, no, your skin's too dark and I won't work with you, obviously. But like tattooing, it's like no man's land, isn't it? Like you just make up the rules as you go, which I see all too much of that now. And you know, the problem is like a level of gatekeeping in tattooing is good and is right, but there's been too much of it, and the tattooer is not always right. If you have a question, you can ask it. If you feel uncomfortable, it's already wrong. I remember a friend of mine saying to me once, like, oh, I got this tattoo and I was in this state of undress and I didn't feel comfortable, what do you think? And I said, if you felt uncomfortable, then it's wrong. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you get a tattoo on your butt cheek and they ask you to take off your trousers. If they're making you feel uncomfortable while that's happening, then something's not right. You know what I mean? So anyway, righteousness and the need to be right. I'm just fucking over it, bro. Like, I have got a stick up my ass and a fire in my belly, and I'm just like, I need to like try and enact some real change in the industry that I love so well. I owe my life to tattooing. I love tattooing. I love being a tattooer. It's the best thing I ever did. But unfortunately, as is true for so many of my friends in the industry, my female friends, my non-binary femme friends, my non-binary friends, I think my friends who aren't fucking cis men, my start into the industry was fucking awful. Really traumatic. It stained my whole career. and it makes me a bit fucking sick. And while it is not the responsibility of women in this industry to right the wrongs of the men that came before them, we have the power to do that, and as such I think that we should. And that's why, and look, like, you don't have to do that, okay? If you're a female tattooer, all you have to do is be a female tattooer. You just have to be a tattooer. You can do whatever the fuck you want. And it doesn't, you know, it's not your job, like I say, and like I don't look at you any kind of way, and please never think that I would judge any woman for anything ever. No, I'm just kidding. But like, for not wanting to like share what she knows or what she's learned with the next generation, because you don't have to. You don't have to do anything, okay? But it's important to me to do that, because when I got my apprenticeship, all I wanted in the world was to get my head down, learn how to tattoo, and move to Manchester. That was my dream. And instead, every fucking time I showed up to that shop, my freak bitch of a mentor would shut the shop, tell me to get in his car, drive me to a city, tell me nothing. I would ask where we going, wouldn't tell me anything. And I was just like his. And he did that for like a month. I don't remember how long, a month, 2 months. And eventually I remember when he was driving me home one day, and he said to me, when are you going to let me take you on a real date? And I remember my heart fell out my arse, and I was like, I just want to learn how to tattoo. I don't want to date you. I'm not attracted to you. I'm not interested in you like that. All I wanted, I wanted so desperately to get this apprenticeship. Now I've got it. And the guy who mentored me, it was his dad's shop. So if it didn't work out with us, I was on my ass. So how could I say no? Like, I was very young. I think I was 21. I was very mentally ill and unwell. I was having a really hard time at home, and I was just fucked up. I'd moved home because a guy at my last job had threatened to rape me, and then I had to call the police, and then I had to leave. Like, it was just really bad. And, you know, it got out of the fucking frying pan into the fire, isn't it? And I just remember thinking, like, when will I ever just get on for the merits of who I am as an artist, or even just a worker? When is it all, why has it always got to be about what I can give you sexually, what I can give you with my body? Can't you just see me as a person? I just want to work. I just want to learn how to tattoo. I do not want to be with you like that. I just want to be left alone by men. I just want to be mentored in a mentor-mentee situation. I want to get my fucking apprenticeship done, and I want to move away. Like, that's all I want. Why now am I having to sacrifice that for you? You know? And I remember the first time he ever, like, took me out of work, and I remember talking to him, and he was, like, laughing. And I remember thinking, he's fake laughing. Why is he laughing? And then I was like, what's going on? And it was like months, and I was like, is this guy into me? Like, and obviously in hindsight it was obvious, but he was such a weird guy that, like, it was so hard to understand what was going on. He was so intense, and I just wanted to learn how to tattoo. That was it. And I'd got an apprenticeship. Why do I have to fuck you to do it? You know what I mean? I had to fucking marry the guy in the end, like, you know. And it was a bloody nightmare. And I just almost 7 years of my life that cost me. That fucking... And the only reason it ended was because I grew up. Dead ass, like... I grew up. I outgrew him. And he used to say this to me. He used to say to me, I still see you as that lost little girl. Oh! And it's like, I'm not. Do you know what? Fuck you, because I never was. And it's just like part of the course. And I mean, it's like, I just desperately, if I can, like it's people say, so if it's just one person, I want to stop that happening to them. Because, you know, when it was happening to me, like, the term, like, love bombing, I'd never even heard of it before. And now it's like, oh, fucking hell. Like, this is 101. He could have given the fucking TED talk on it. Like, makes me so mad. And, like, the things he did to me at the start to set the tone for the rest of our relationship, and, like, the things I asked from him, and asked him to stop doing, and his reactions, and it's just like insane. And I just don't want that to happen. I just want it to stop. Like, I'm not gonna apologize for getting upset because it upsets me. And like, I can be that person. I am that person who's very like outspoken and confident, and is not afraid to call out what's wrong and what's right. But it just breaks my heart to see like these cycles again and again. And like, all the conversations I have with my friends about how they experienced coming into the industry and what happened to them, and dude, like, it makes me fucking sick, okay? And so many of us experienced it because we just didn't know what was normal. And when you start to realize something might be wrong, you're already so deep into it, you don't know how to get out of it. And we need to take some fucking power back, okay? We need to take power back from these fucked up weirdos who seek to groom us and abuse us and ruin our lives, okay? Because everyone I know, I'm lucky enough to know so many like strong female tattooers who are incredibly talented, like a great work ethic. They're so professional, like they're so savvy, like they just got their shit. Because being a tattooer nowadays is so much more than just being a tattooer. It's being everything and also tattooing. I'm lucky enough to know so many women that they are like people I look up to, that I want to be more like. They're incredible. And so many of them are that way in spite of the men that brought them into the industry. So they've had to build this career and life for themselves while having this anchor at their fucking feet and having to undergo all this trauma. And I think about how much they've done, and then the men that did that to them. And it's like, what the fuck is your excuse, you loser bitch? What the fuck have you ever done other than try and ruin their life? And it just makes me sick. And it is 10 a penny, and I see it every day. I see it all the time. And the sad fact is, when I call it out, I get threatened, and I get like, it's just a cycle. Like, and it's like, well, I either get threatened or they act on it and I get fucking, whatever. And it's just like, I can't, like, I have to just keep going. Like, I can't let you, like, intimidate me into silence. Like, I'm just not having it. Like, I lived that way for 7 years, and I won't live another day like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's enough. And I know it's never going to stop, and that breaks my heart too. But I know that I can do something about it. And so I'm going to. And I don't care, like, the personal cost. It's irrelevant. Like, at one point I couldn't even fucking get out of bed without asking for permission. So what the fuck have I actually got to lose? So yeah, I just want to say I'm very excited for this workshop. I'm very excited to make real change in the industry. I'll be doing it also with my friends who I love and adore, and new people I've been meeting who I think are just so fucking cool. And it's time. It's been time. And I couldn't do this if it wasn't for the women that came before me, who I've looked up to so much, who are steadfast and headstrong and don't take shit. And it's like, I'm following in their footsteps. Like, I'll ride their coattails for fucking till the end of time. Like, I cannot do this. I could never do this without the women I've got to know, the women I've got to meet, the women I've seen on TV before I became and I'm just thinking, God, what a badass. I have much to do. Much to do, and I feel like I'm the woman for the job. You know what I mean? Kind of fucked up way I've been training for this for years, and you can only be a victim of your circumstance for so long. And I do not judge anyone who lets something that happened to them that's so terrible, like, ruin their life. But it's your life, bro. Like, you gotta do it if you want to do it. Like, you gotta advocate for yourself, you gotta stand up for yourself, and you just gotta fucking fake it till you make it. And I'll be posting more about my workshop very soon, and I will never stop talking my shit. I will never stop calling people out by name who deserve it. I don't care. And thank you, and fuck you. Bye.